Hey guys, Micah here from EbikeSchool.com, and today I want to talk to you about Harley-Davidson's new electric motorcycles that they just unveiled today. Now, I posted an article about this just a couple of minutes ago on Electrek, and so I definitely recommend you go check that out. It's got the news about the event and also my analysis. But I wanted to talk to you guys for a few minutes today about these new bikes because I just think they're really important to the larger two-wheeled electric vehicle industry. Now, what happened today is that just a few minutes ago, Harley-Davidson showed off their Livewire electric motorcycle at CES 2019 in Las Vegas, and they also unveiled two new electric motorbike prototypes. And I'm going to talk about those in just a minute because I think they're really important, but we'll start with what's sort of the main event, which is the new Livewire motorcycle. Now, Harley-Davidson's been sort of teasing this motorcycle for years. I mean, they started the project back in, I want to say 2014 or 2015, so it's been a while they've been working on it. And it's gone through a few revisions, and there were periods where people thought this was vaporware. But for the past year or so, Harley-Davidson's been promising 2019 is the year it becomes available. It's actually going to roll out and people are going to be able to buy this thing. I've been reporting on the Livewire bike for a while now myself, and I'm really excited to see it rolling out today. Now, we've heard a lot of the specs on the sort of motorcycle side before. You know, it's got the nice Brembo brakes, the Showa suspension. The performance is something like 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, but we haven't heard a lot about the actual electrical components. But we do have some new information today, first of which is the range of the bike, which they are quoting at 110 miles of mixed sort of urban and faster highway speeds. To compare that to something that already exists, the Zero SR with the 14.4 kilowatt hour pack has a mixed range of, I think, 120 miles. So probably something a little bit under Zero SR, but it's for urban use, you know, pretty good. You're not going to be taking this thing out for long trips on the highway, but it's going to be great as like a city commuter bike that you can still take out on backcountry roads and have some fun on. Plus, the bike is going to have DC fast charging, which is important because that means that it opens the opportunity for longer trips. Now, of course, that means you have to plan around where there are DC fast charging opportunities, and right now, depending where you live, there might not be that many. But obviously, charging stations are growing every day, and so that opportunity is only going to grow as well. Now, the price of the bike was also unveiled, which is, prepare yourself, $29,799. That's a lot of money. I mean, for any vehicle, that's a lot of money. For a motorcycle, that's a ton. But remember, this is actually a very high-end premium motorcycle. It's not just the sort of bars and shield Harley-Davidson logo you're paying for, though that does factor into the price. You've got the high-end components. You've got the high performance. There's some level of scarcity here because this is not going to be a high-production electric motorcycle, at least not in the beginning. But there is also this idea that they're looking for early adopters. I was talking to Mark McAllister, the VP of Product Development, and he was saying that while Harley-Davidson is hoping that the Livewire will appeal to both their existing base and new riders, that he thinks that what they're really going to find is that they're going to be expanding into this new ridership, into people that have never looked at Harley-Davidson before. And that includes people like me, that I'm an electric vehicle guy. You know, Harley-Davidson didn't really interest me at all before this. I'm just not into the ICE bikes. But suddenly, I'm very interested because Harley-Davidson has rolled out what is, in my opinion, a really nice-looking, high-performing electric motorcycle. Now, I'm not going to be buying the first Livewires. I don't have $30,000 to drop on one of these bikes. But there are a lot of early adopters out there who do, and it's those people that are going to demonstrate the demand for bikes like this, and it's only going to increase the amount of research and development that companies like Harley-Davidson put into developing these bikes. As soon as they see the demand that's out there, which I believe that there is a lot of demand for these electric vehicles, that's going to be the positive reinforcement to continue putting these bikes out. And that brings me to what I think is perhaps even more important is the second part of the Harley-Davidson announcement today, is that they've started rolling out prototypes for multiple electric motorbikes. Now, they announced last summer that there were going to be 4 other prototypes they're working on. This is part of the More Roads to Harley-Davidson program that is a suite or sort of a portfolio of electric two-wheelers. In that portfolio, there's a sort of lightweight electric moto, something that looks a little cafe racer-ish. There's a electric bicycle, an electric dirt bike, and sort of a moped scooter-looking thing. So today they have rolled out the first 2, which are the dirt bike and the moped scooter thing. I don't really know what to call it. In fact, Harley-Davidson doesn't either. Neither of these have any names yet. They're just prototypes, and so we don't have a lot of specs on them. But they show us that Harley-Davidson isn't just paying lip service to this idea of rolling out an electric motorcycle. They're actually putting their money where their mouths are and developing these vehicles, and I think that is really exciting. At least it excites me. Now, if we look at these two vehicles, we can start to get an idea of the components and the performance they're going to have. There's no specs or anything released yet, but let's just take a look. Now, if you look at the dirt bike here, I can already see we've got these, big off-road tires. I'm looking at a rear hydraulic reservoir suspension. We've got a inverted hydraulic fork. I'm not sure what kind of brakes these are here because I can't see them too well. But it looks like single piston to me, which is probably fine for something that's not going to be going too terribly fast. And then what's really cool, if you check out the motor case down here, you can see we've got a belt drive, which I really like that. It's always a shame to me when you've got these really awesome electric motorcycles or dirt bikes, and then they put a chain drive on it. So what should be a silent bike is now going clack, 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 clack as you hear the chain going. So I really like the belt drive that they've put on this. I think that's going to be awesome. The seat doesn't look amazingly comfortable, but this is a dirt bike. You're going to be standing on the pegs most of the time anyways. You can also see in the battery here that there's a handle at the top, so presumably this is going to be a removable battery. The battery cables down here look like they are removable, and these are some pretty thick cables too. I don't know if that's just the insulation that's pretty thick, or if they're planning to pull some serious power out of this battery. Hopefully it's the latter, because that would be awesome to see a really powerful belt-driven electric dirt bike. But the removable battery, I think, is going to be awesome because it allows for you to hit the track over and over and just keep swapping batteries if you want to be riding all day. You're not going to have to deal with stopping to recharge your bike. So already I'm just really excited about this dirt bike, but there's another vehicle that perhaps is even more exciting to me. Check out the scooter moped looking thing here. Now this I think is really cool. It takes a similar design shape to some of the electric bicycles that we've seen. This looks like the Super 73 or the Moke or the Juiced Scrambler, or what other ones out there are there? This is a pretty common frame design, but I think the reason that Harley-Davidson went with it is because there aren't that many different frame designs for these types of scooters or mopeds. The other popular one is sort of the Vespa style, which is the step through and the big wing in the front looking thing. And that's a nice design. It's kind of been done to death. And the other thing is it doesn't really scream Harley-Davidson, right? It just kind of looks too European to be something that Harley would produce. So I can see why they went with something that looks a little more rugged, a little more retro, that fits a little better with their design legacy. The interesting thing, though, is that if you look at this, it doesn't really look like a Harley either. This is definitely a new direction for the company, which I think is important. It shows that they're embracing change. And to be honest, Harley-Davidson doesn't really have a choice, right? Their riders aren't getting any younger, and if they don't embrace change, the writing's on the wall for the company. So this shows that they're actually embracing change, and that, I think, is admirable. How well these bikes do when they eventually roll out, that remains to be seen. I think there's definitely demand for them, but I'm really excited to see them rolling out different types of products like this scooter. Now, if you check out the scooter, we can see, again, a belt drive, which I love. This is going to be just a really nice, silent scooter. We don't see the motor down here, so I can't really get an idea of what's there. But what I, first of all, don't see is any rear suspension. So this looks like it's a front suspension only. You can see the inverted telescoping fork there. But what that means is that this could actually be pretty affordable, right? When you remove suspension from the rear, you remove a lot of the design complexities and some of the cost of producing these vehicles. So this could be decently affordable and challenge some of the other options on the market, like the Gen Z scooter, like the Flux moped, like the City Slicker electric motorcycle. This could be a pretty nice entry-level electric vehicle. If you check out more of the bike, we see these nice big slick tires. I really like the lights. They've got the sort of the halo front LED headlight and the LED taillight bar. I don't see any turn signals here, so I'm not sure if there's going to be any issue with legality. Again, this is a prototype, so these things could be added, but they've already got the mirror on there, which is definitely a requirement in many areas to be road legal. One thing that strikes me as odd, if you check out the brakes, so I see a front hydraulic brake there. That's, normal, but if you look at the left side of the handlebars, there's no brake lever, right? Of course, there's no clutch because this is electric, but there's no brakes. So I assume that the rear is just going to be regen braking, which by itself isn't odd, but I don't know how you would actuate that with only one brake lever. I assume that when you pull the lever, it'll just fire both brakes, but with a two-wheeled vehicle, you really want to be able to control your brakes individually if possible. That's a little bit odd, but we'll have to see what Harley does there. Next, if you check out the battery, again, I see a handle here, so we're going to have a removable battery, which is important. Anyone who's using one of these in a city knows that, if you don't have your own private garage to charge in, you're going to have to park somewhere on the street, sidewalk, anywhere outside, and then carry your battery in to charge it. So it's great to see that we've got a removable battery here so that it opens up the door to a lot of city dwellers and people who live in apartments and don't have their own garages. The single weirdest thing about this scooter, though, that surprised me are the running boards. I mean, it looks like a laminated skateboard deck that they just cut in half and bolted on the side, which seems odd because I'm sure they're spending millions of dollars in their design department to come up with these cool things. I mean, check out the sleek frame, the nice belt line. This is a cool looking vehicle. But then they went and bolted this skateboard on the sides. I don't know if that's a final version or if that's just something they're using right now. It seems a little bit odd to me, kind of like a garage DIY project, but we'll have to see if that sticks around for the final version as well. So when you look at all three of these vehicles, the most important thing here to me is that this says Harley-Davidson is doing what they said they were going to do, which is to make a real effort to move towards electric vehicles. Now, they're not discontinuing their ICE bikes. They're going to continue pumping out engines. They're going to continue making these chromed out bikes because there is a market for that. It's an aging market, and if you ask me, I don't think it's going to be around forever. But as long as there's a market, they're going to keep serving it. But what's more important is that they are making progress moving towards electric vehicles. And that, I think, is admirable, and that is what excites me. Not only that, they're one of the first. I mean, we have other electric motorcycles, right? I mean, Zero's been around for over a decade, so that's great. But, where's Honda? Where's Suzuki? Where's Yamaha? Where are the other big motorcycle makers? They're closer to the supply lines, and yet we aren't seeing anything interesting coming out of them in the form of electric two-wheelers. So Harley-Davidson, even though it feels kind of late, is actually a bit ahead of the curve on these things. And I'm excited about that. Now, I'm probably not going to be ordering a $30,000 Livewire electric motorcycle soon, though if I had the money, I'd love to, because I just think it's an awesome looking, awesome performing electric motorcycle, and I 100% support the movement. But I am excited to see what Harley-Davidson rolls out in the future in regards to this electric portfolio that they're developing, because I think that these sort of smaller, lighter, and more affordable bikes are definitely going to push the industry forward and have a major effect on two-wheeled electric transportation in the United States. And for that, I am incredibly excited, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds. Now, thank you guys for watching. If you've been following my channel for a while, you probably realize this is a bit of a different video, right? So mostly what I do is create educational content, how-tos, those sorts of videos. And I wanted to try something a little different because there's a lot of electric motorcycles and electric scooters coming out in the next year, both in the United States and around the world. And I think that we're really seeing a big shift towards affordable and accessible two-wheeled electric vehicles. And I want to start creating some more content that brings people into that world and tells people more about what's going on, and maybe provide my own thoughts and analysis of these types of vehicles. That being said, I know that a lot of people have come for my original content, which is very sort of educational how-to, and I'm not sure if the best move would be to sort of add this informational content onto my channel, because I'll of course continue doing the same types of videos I've done before, or to create an entirely new channel that's more informational. And so I'd love if you'd comment below and let me know what you think. If you'd like to see, in addition to the educational videos, some of these more informative videos, or whether you think that belongs on a different channel. And if you've been following my channel for a long time and you're one of my original subscribers, I'd definitely love to hear from you, because you guys are the ones that have been with me and have helped me grow my channel. So I really appreciate your insight to let me know what you think I should do in regards to this type of content moving forward. Last but not least, it is time to announce the winner from last week's video. And I actually have two winners, because thanks to Boots Langley, who won a couple weeks ago, he already had my books, so MVP right there. Thank you for buying my books. But he said, instead of sending me a book I already have, why don't you just draw another winner? So now I'm going to choose two winners for this week. And the winners are Anthony DeVries and Travis Tonsbeek. So congratulations, guys. Shoot me a message and let me know which one of my books you'd like and where to send them. You can choose from the Ultimate Do-It-Yourself e-bike guide if you want to learn more about building e-bikes, DIY solar power if you want to learn about solar power projects, or DIY lithium batteries if you want to build your own battery packs. And for anyone else who wants a chance to win one of my books for free, just put a comment below and hopefully you'll be the randomly selected commenter at the end of my next video. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.